So I get to share with you something I'm very passionate about, and that is improving and optimizing performance across the board. So in a very simple nutshell explanation of what I'm going to talk about here is that if you were currently here, we got a little thermometer. That's actually a good little cue to pay attention to. So if you feel like you're there on the thermometer and you know that your potential that you can see is to the top, what I'm going to talk about is how do you make it to that next level. There's all sorts of awesome motivational speakers. You can watch Tony Robbins. There's just a lot of great content out there on kind of the mindset behind becoming successful. But when you were trying to improve yourself in any aspect, and that can be success as far as in terms of family, finances, health, a lot of different areas, you basically get to pick whatever that means to you. But when you're on the path of self-improvement and self-development, it is awesome because you kind of naturally have already overcome a barrier that says that you're stuck with where you're at. And when we start to remove that barrier, we can have a really cool conversation about how do we reach the next levels. Because now it's not can you reach the next level, it's how do you reach the next level. And that will put you on a path, and that path is going to lead you into this this forest where there's basically no path directly in front of you. You can go left, you can go right, you can go northeast, you can go southwest, you can go wherever you want with it, and really you're not going to go wrong. And this has been a journey that my wife and I, Dr. Natalie and myself, that's what brought us together. That's what has gotten us to do all the incredible things that we've done so young and early in life, is because we have never really put a cap to what our level of success can be. And I want to share that with you. And that's primarily why we're in chiropractic, is because for different reasons between Dr. Natalie and myself, we have overcome issues that chiropractic has been the solution for, and it's been pretty much a staple solution for the biggest issues of our lives, because it all comes back down to your connection with yourself. You know, how you see your confidence levels, how you see yourself, how do you view yourself, and the way that you view yourself will also be reflected on how other people view you. But ultimately, it always comes back down to you, which is great because that means you got full control, but it's also terrible because it means you have full control, so you can't blame anybody else. You could try, but you really can't blame anybody else because it all comes back to you anyways. And there's lots of things that are outside of your control, but if you take full responsibility for everything in your life, then you're in a very, very strong, very good place. And chiropractic is a wonderful tool to be able to help you get in harmony with mind, body, and spirit. Because your brain, and this is not just mumbo jumbo, this is completely real and it's a fact, and more neuroscience today is showing this to be true than ever before, which is great because science is constantly evolving. This was a different conversation 10 or 15 years ago that was not very well backed up by science. Now it is very well backed up by science. So you can be at least more comfortable, even though deep down inside you know that this is all true. But now you can rest assured that there are scientists who are coming from a very analytical perspective that are understanding this and backing it up with research, so that you can be comfortable that sharing this with the public, that you know that it's out there. But your brain and your body are all one, right? And so is your spirit. So I think mind, body, and spirit, they are all one. What happens that kind of kicks us out and it limits our potential is when we are out of tune with our mind, body, and our spirit. So the brain sends constant signals to our body, and our body sends constant signals to our brain. When those get out of balance and it gets out of sorts, we break down. We break down mentally, we break down physically, and then we because we broke down physically and mentally, we are away from the wholeness and the oneness that is us and our spirit. So by very nature, we become disconnected from our spirit. And that's not the good place to be. So the best things that we can do is do things to bring us back into that harmony, back into that space that allows us to be the most creative. If you think about it, if you are out of balance, brain, body is disconnected, you are going to be stressed, right? And stress will actually cause it, and it will actually cause stress itself. And when you're stressed, you don't think clearly, right? Imagine getting a phone call and you're in the middle of like solving a math problem, or you're reading a book, and someone gives you a call and you hear some horrible news, and now you suddenly get stressed out of your mind. You can't just set that down and be like, all right, just give me 5 more minutes. I need to finish up this math problem, or give me 5 more minutes and I'm going to continue to read this book, or solve some sort of other problem that you were enjoying being creative with. No, you set that down and you start fretting over it, and you're thinking more about it, and you can't not think about it because it's taken over your entire psyche. That's because we flipped into the more stress-driven part of our brain, which is going to continue to put us out of sorts. That's not a very helpful place to be in the majority of our life. If we're being attacked by a tiger, or our life is threatened in some sort of a way, that is a very appropriate response. But we trigger that response, that stress response, abnormally all the time, and it's destroying our bodies from the inside out, and it's disconnecting us. So we have to have tools in order to reach high levels of success and to perform at a high level today. We have to be able to navigate these stressors of life, because they're going to be there. We can't just snap our fingers and make the stress go away. We have to have tools, tactics, and strategies at our disposal in order to be able to have those stressors present themselves to us, and then it kind of we just brush it off, kind of like, okay, cool, I see that, I'm going to respond to it, but I'm not going to react to it, I'm going to respond to it. And the only reason or way that you can respond to it is if that your mind, body, and your spirit are all connected as one, and then you will have an amazing experience and solution to even the most trying, difficult circumstances. And this is easier said than done, but one of the easiest way that you could do this, I mean, meditation is a massive way, but it's not that easy to do. Making sure that your diet is on point is very important, but it's not very easy to do. Getting consistent exercise in, and the right types of exercise for you and your body and the types of stress that you're currently under, is the right thing, but it's not very easy to do. The easiest thing that you can do, and actually the most powerful thing you can do, is get under neurologically based chiropractic care. And that has made the biggest impact in my life and my own personal journey, is when you are connected by removing any of the interferences. Because here's what chiropractic does, kind of in a nutshell. Your brain and your body, like I talked about before, they need to be connected in order to operate correctly. If they get disconnected, what chiropractic does is it helps to find that disconnect, basically reconnects it so that you can now function at an optimal again. That doesn't mean that you're not going to go out and get way stressed out, and then it's not going to be affected in your body again. But what happens is, over time and repetition, when you're getting adjusted, not just once in a blue moon, but when you get consistently adjusted, your body learns that alignment is better than not being aligned. That oneness is better than having disjointedness. And so when you're connected up frequently, you're able to perform and handle those stressors at a very high level. And the cool thing about getting adjusted is it is fast, it is easy. I mean, it doesn't take any discipline aside from just driving over and walking in and getting adjusted. The only trade-off is that you're going to be trading off money. The cool thing about high performers, though, is that we value exchanging money for services, because we're basically using money to buy time, right? And so this is one of the coolest things that you can do when you're on the road to high performance, is to be, just like with exercise, people that have the money will spend it on a trainer who will be able to get them from point A to point B quickly, rather than just kind of floundering themselves and trying to figure it out. When you are on that journey to self-improvement and self-discovery and bettering yourself, chiropractic is a no-brainer. But a lot of people don't think about it. They think about doing all these other obstacles that are a lot more difficult along the way, which are all, you got to do them. You got to do them all. This is not the shortcut saying don't clean up your diet, don't find a great exercise regime, don't meditate. No, you need to do all of those things. But a lot of times if those aren't falling into place for you, getting adjusted is that first step that will make everything else easier. Because if you are disjointed between your brain and your body, and you go and you try to sit down and you try to meditate for 10, 15, 20 minutes or an hour, you're going to have a very hard time. You're going to have a really, really hard time, even though you know that you should be doing it, because you can't clear your mind, because your mind and your body are sending all these mixed messages and signals. But over time, when you start getting adjusted, you can get into a better meditative state. You can have better discipline over your food choices because you're not being driven by cortisol, which is a stress hormone that makes you starving for carbs. So you're not having to just like, oh gosh, I want that carb, I need it right now, and you lose that self-discipline. So chiropractic really should be a foundation point for anyone who is on this journey of self-improvement and self-development. And you will notice incredible changes, and you're going to love it because, one, I don't know how you wouldn't. You're just going to feel better. You're going to function better. It's going to lead you to be able to handle your diet, your exercise, and your meditation better, or mindfulness exercises, or prayer, or whatever it is that you're using to connect up to nature. You're going to be able to get outside more. You're going to feel better. You're just going to be happier. It just is the foundation on which everything else layers itself. And my wife and I, we get adjusted probably twice a week. We obviously have access to it very readily, but even with no health issues, no aches or pains, we are getting connected up and adjusted multiple times a week so that we can reach those higher states of consciousness, because we are asking a lot of ourselves on a daily basis. And so I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you're in the same boat and you're expecting a lot of yourself. And so, do pay attention to what other people that are doing well are doing. And this is a very easy approach, and this is something that it's a no-brainer. So I wanted to pass that on to you because it's exciting. Love it. It's transformational, and we're all on this journey together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely, like I said, a passion of mine. I can talk probably about this topic for hours and hours, but I'll spare you that for now. But we'll look out for more videos on this down the road. All right. I hope you all have an awesome day.